Hey guys, and welcome back to Create Above and Beyond. So we set up this crazy contraption last episode for all of the paintballs, and ultimately got up to the end of chapter 3. And this Enderman is still here from last episode. He's gonna be there for a while, I think. So yeah, the plan for this episode is to see how far we can get through chapter 3A, which is the bonus quests on the end of chapter 3. And one of the things we have to do to progress this chapter is actually visit the end, which is something we've not done yet, and there is a hole in the roof. I have no idea why we're missing a slab right there, but let's fix that. So yeah, the end. We first actually have to find the end portal, which means some Eyes of Ender. We only have one Ender Pearl. I wonder if we can trade for these. We can. Of course we can trade for them. We can trade for everything. Actually, I'm curious how many silver coins we have by now. 116,000. 1,800 stacks of these things, wow. I mean, that is the power of passive processes, right? We do have to pick up the shipments card for this though. I will also get the blaze rod one, and also the ender pearl. I've got this little trading station back here, which I've been using for some manual processes, like wool. But it's probably about time we maybe flesh this out and add another section onto this. Alright, so there's basically as many ender pearls and blaze rods as we're going to need to then make our Eyes of Ender. I didn't actually check if this was standard recipe, but I'm glad it is. And before we go to the end, there's one other little upgrade I'd like to get from Reliquary, and that is the Rending Gale. I had a look at this recipe, and we need a charged creeper drop, which is, I mean, that's going to take forever, right? Only we can trade for this thing, so yeah. There's our charged creeper drop. We can trade it from someone else who has it, apparently. And this allows us to pick up the Rending Gale. Only we do require feathers for this normally. I think, yeah, we still do require feathers in this pack. Can we buy those as well? I wouldn't be surprised. We can totally buy those as well. So once we feed the Rending Gale some feathers, you can see in the bottom right corner we're gaining on the feathers in this thing. We have almost flight. Although I think we do still take fall damage. Oh yeah. Although there is also another little trinket solution for this as well. If we craft angelic feather, yeah, this thing protects you from falls at the expense of hunger. The only issue, I mean, we can get everything else from trades. The only thing we don't have is green dye. And we don't have any cactus. We haven't found any deserts yet, I don't think. However, we can apparently get this from crushing our rose bushes that we have automate. I mean, it's only 5% chance, but if we crush enough, we should get at least one, right? So with green dye acquired, we can get our angelic feather. So I'm curious to see how much hunger exactly this takes off. Half a bar? I mean, it's not bad, but we're still just eating apples, so it's not really ideal. And our solution here comes in the form of gold coins again. So we can buy more of these card packs. I think we have almost every set except the Farmer's Delight set, and apparently the Farmer's Delight set will completely restore your hunger at the expense of our speed buff, but I think it's going to be worth it, to be honest, when we have the flight. Oh, and we got it. Apparently we got the medal. Yeah, nice. So we put this on. This should give us saturation. Nourishment, I guess is what it's called. Yeah, so this keeps up our hunger, and pretty much with the feather means we never take fall damage either. Alright, we have made it to the end. It's time to say hello to the dragon, and hopefully not look at an enderman. Oh, that was a bad idea. We should definitely be careful. Let's pick up some dragon's breath. So has our accuracy improved since Divine Journey? So far, yes. We'll see though. Missed that one. There does also seem to be some sort of blindness effect here as well. We can't see very far. Okay, is that them all? I think we got all the pillars. It's hard to see here though. Oh, we are not doing very much damage at all. Probably should have picked up a better bow for this. Alright, dragon, what you doing up there? Oh, we're getting him. We're getting him. And another hit. 5 in a row. 6 in a row. Nope. Last one. Hey, we got him. We got him. Collector experience. And also the dragon egg. Oh, and I looked at another Enderman. That's not good. Interesting looking portal here for the end as well. And while we're in the end, why don't we see if we can pick up an elytra? Gonna have to go through one of these end gateways. Hopefully we can find a ship. Oh, almost immediately. Awesome. Look at this. Hello, shulker. There's our elytra. Alright everyone, we made it back, but before we continue with our chapter 3 automation, I think we're actually going to use our elytra here to craft the magical feather, or just magic feather it's called. And this goes in our trinket slot somewhere. Oh, we have to get rid of the flux capacitor. Oh, that's unfortunate. But while we're in range of a beacon, we have creative flight. So yeah, I think we'll still keep the rending gale, but this is very useful for doing ceilings and things. So I think I'm going to take some time and do a little bit of building. Oh, and that Enderman is still there. Let's see how long he lasts. Looks like the range on this thing goes to around about here. It's not great, to be honest, so I may end up going to get another few beacons just to scatter around the base. That may not be such a bad idea. So apart from the fact that I lost almost all the levels from the dragon fight, well, I did pick up a second beacon. And what do you think to this space? I think it really transforms this factory floor. It does, however, make the unfinished parts look even worse. So we'll have to somehow figure out how we're going to connect these two parts together. But yeah, I think this is looking awesome. I knew we could make it work, right? The only thing I'm not 100% sold on is this lighting. If you guys have any suggestions on lighting options, let me know. I've tried a bunch of different things. I've tried the regular lanterns, torches. There's also these chandeliers I tried, but I couldn't really find a way to get them to fit into the build. Anyways, that is enough building. I think we should move on with some more fun stuff through Create. I mean, not that building isn't fun, I had a lot of fun doing this. But I also realised that we forgot pretty much the whole reason we went to the end. We're looking for these tall Poise Bushes. I mean, the trip back really isn't too bad at this point with the rending gale, but it's still quite far regardless. So these bushes apparently are found in one of the unique biomes in the end. Oh, and there's even slime islands here. I didn't know they even spawned in the end, that's cool. Ender slime, I guess that makes sense. Oh, we can use it for a bunch of Tinkers modifiers, that's pretty cool. Wonder if we can spot anything on the map here. This little patch down here looks unusual, I wonder if that's what it is. Yeah, very unusual indeed, look at this place. Oh, this looks so cool. Oh, I think that is our bushes in there. Hold on. We got floating blocks. Yeah, tall Poise Bushes. I hope we don't need shears for these. I didn't bring any shears. I bet we need shears for these. Oh, check this guy out. Flying spider. Alright, we really should go back then. I need to grab some shears. Alright, so now with these Poise Bushes, we're obviously going to want to automate these. And the quest mentions here that we have access to the Phytogenic insulator. It's been a while since I've used this thing. However, to make this machine, we do need lumium, and lumium is something we've not made yet in this pack. And as far as I can tell, the only way to get lumium is with the fractionating still. I'm going to make 2 of these things. We'll also have to think about a power source for this as well. And I think what we're going to do here is use Magmatic Dynamos. Now this, what you're about to see here, is completely temporary. I promise you, we're about to unlock ender tanks, which is going to make lava transportation a lot easier. And in fact, will allow us to take out this line here. Although I've kind of grown accustomed to this. I quite like this lava line flowing through here. We will need a magma crucible to melt glowstone, which will go into the fractionating still. And then I guess we'll have to wrench these pipes. That should put lava in these dynamos. Oh, but there's no way we can power it with it. Look how fast the RF is going down with this. We may have to give some upgrades to this dynamo actually. So I think we can actually use these integral components, which are very different in 1.16. But think of them as the upgrade kits from 1.12. And there are, I believe, 3 different tiers of these. We have the hardened, which is just copper. The reinforced, which is the zinc machines. And then the final tier is Enderium, which we almost have. So now if we put these upgrades in, are we able to get enough power for this thing? Yeah, that looks significantly faster. Nice, we're getting our energized glowstone. And we'll need to have the modular reconfiguration augment to allow us to auto output to the right hand side. And I guess we'll need one in the fractionating still to allow input. And this should convert it straight into ingots for us. Yeah, nice. And it looks like it is 1-to-1 with the glowstone blocks. That's pretty good because this is one of the few things we can actually trade for, so we have to go to the nether to farm this stuff. I mean, or we could make a witch farm, I guess. We should think about where we want to put this process. So I think for the chapter 3a stuff, we'll put it next to chapter 3, and then chapter 4 I think we'll put on the other side. Again, I don't really want to go too much further here and dig out so much more space. But I think what would look really cool is if we open up this corridor at the very end and we have our launch site right there for the rocket. I think that's a cool idea. So yeah, hopefully everything else we can squeeze in here, and then maybe we'll have some things underneath as well. Alright, so I've got our Phytogenic insulator set up here, and we have a water source. We'll also have to give it our Poise Bush. I think just the small one, which turns into the tall one. If we give it the tall one, then I think it gives us clusters. And then there is also the issue of RF, which is what this monstrosity here is for. But don't worry, this is also just temporary. So I was trying a system of an igneous extruder to feed a magma crucible, to give us lava, obviously, which then feeds into magmatic dynamos via this pump. But this setup is nowhere near fast enough. This magma crucible consumes too much RF and gives us too little lava. So this setup here has to go. But we'll keep the insulator, which will be output to a drawer, and we'll buffer the Poise Bushes. We will have to put the augment on it though. It's kind of unfortunate that the automatic output feature is, well, now requires an augment slot. So auto output enabled to the right hand side, which will be locked in the drawer. And just so that we can get this going, I'm going to just feed it manually with buckets of lava. Just until we can get our ender tank up. Awesome, so that turns on the insulator. Oh, wait a second, are we going to need the augment for this insulator as well? Cyclical processing, is this what we were after? Just so that it doesn't consume the input item and we can infinitely farm this. Let's see if it consumes this bush first. It is very slow though. We're definitely going to have to, either add more or for sure upgrade this machine. Okay, it did consume the input item. To get this cyclical processing augment though, we need signalum, which is a similar process to lumium. We have to fractionate and still destabilized redstone. So we can reuse this temporary setup with fractionating still, and the destabilized redstone we should already have automated actually. Yeah, we're using it in this basin here for, what is this, the electron tubes. We can feed a little bit of this into our fractionating still, and this should give us signalum. Yeah, nice, and it is still 1-to-1 like the lumium as well. Alright, let's test again with the augment here. Hopefully this is the right thing we need. I mean, the quest seems to suggest that it is possible to just duplicate with the insulator. Is it going to consume the bush? Looks like it did consume it again. Okay. Oh, I see. It would help if we checked some recipes here. So we actually do want to put in the tall Poise Bush so that we can get the Poise Cluster. And then the cluster we can throw through once again in the Phytogenic Insulator to give us the Poise Bushes. Okay, so now that we figured that thing out, this looks a mess, so I'm going to rebuild this. But before we do, let's also consider the other part of Enderium, which we're trying to get to here. So to make Enderium, we have to use an induction smelter with the tall Poise Bush. Either ender pearl dust or ender pearls, although we have loads and loads of ender pearl dust coming off of this belt. So we'll have to somehow split that off and then extend it along. And then also silver ingots. And as far as I can tell, the only way for us to get silver really, apart from occultism, is to use the Tinkers Smeltery and melt some of our silver coins we're generating. And then I assume cast that into ingots, yeah. And then we send all of that through the induction smelter to get our Enderium. So it's going to be quite the setup here. Let me try to see if we can figure something out and obviously make it look better than this. Alright guys, check it out, we have Enderium Ingots. Oh yeah. So this setup took me a while to get going, to be honest. It's been rebuilt many times. And we're still not finished with this yet. There's still a few things we have to add to this. So we now have 3 Phytogenic insulators for each of the 3 steps. We'll go over this in a second, but we do still have to power these magmatic dynamos. There's 3 on top of here, and then also 1 powering the induction smelter on the end. We also have to send lava into our smeltery here, into the fuel tanks. And the other input we have to set up for this is the silver, which is going to be going into the seared chute for the smeltery. And the plan for all of this lava is to do ender tanks. But if we check the recipe for the ender tank, we do need the Enderium machines, which we are close to. I mean, we do need an extra induction smelter, I didn't realise this, but we combine our inductive mechanisms, which are right here, and also the Enderium Ingots, and that's going to give us Abstruce Mechanisms. Combine that with the ender casing, which is just an ender pearl and obsidian, and then craft that with a fluid tank to give us our ender tanks. So we'll need about a half stack of Enderium just to get this going. And I think the plan to transport all of these silver coins over is to use ender chests. I'm assuming that is the same recipe. It is, okay. Enderium machine and a regular chest gives us an ender chest. For now, we'll just give the smeltery the coins that it needs. So basically, the way the smeltery is set up, it's really simple actually. We just have 3 seared drains on the end here, connected to some faucets. We give this a redstone signal. It's really nice in 1.16 that you don't have to actually pulse these faucets. You can just give it a constant redstone signal and it will output its contents, which then outputs via the belt funnel and onto the belt, buffered onto the depot and then straight into the induction smelter. I was thinking about adding a drawer for silver ingots, but honestly I think I would rather just buffer the coins. We'll see if it becomes necessary, maybe if the smeltery ends up too slow. But yeah, it looks like we've run out of lava here. Oh, I guess we can't put a seared tank on the bottom. But yeah, as you can see, the silver ingots get poured out into their ingot casts. And then the other part of this, the Phytogenic Insolators. We start with the small Poise Bushes. And actually we'll have to change this drawer setup at the start because this isn't going to be inserted into this insulator. But all of these insulators receive water from just this basic create fluid pump. And then there's a water pipe supplying each one of these machines. Power is on top with the Magmatic Dynamos, which we can manually feed for now. So the first step for the regular Poise Bushes is going to give us the tall Poise Bushes. Actually, wait a second, this is backwards. This isn't going to be our first step. Okay, I fixed it. I had to move some things around right on the end of this belt here. So going from the beginning, I also fixed this drawer on the end. We start with the tall Poise Bushes, which will insulate down into the clusters. So the clusters are then input to the next Phytogenic Insulator. Then this one gives us Ender Slime Balls and the Poise Bushes, the small ones. So those are buffered in this 1x2 drawer. And in fact, we do need a void upgrade on this one, just for the Ender Slime Balls. We don't want this to clog up the Poise Bushes. So then on the end of here, there's a brass funnel to only export the Poise Bushes from here, which gets sent into the third insulator. And this produces our tall Poise Bushes, which is output on this front belt here, round robin by the brass tunnel. So half of the tall ones go onto this depot and then back onto the belt and restart the cycle. And the other half come out of the front of the tunnel here and then straight into the induction smelter to make our Enderium. One other thing I was thinking about actually to power these machines is actually to use our coins, since we'll be sending the coins over here anyway. We can use the numismatic dynamo to generate 100,000 RF per coin. I guess lava we're sending over here anyway for the smeltery. We may also want to look at the auxiliary reaction chamber. I was having a look at these earlier on. They've all changed since 1.12 and I don't recognise any of them. I'm sure a lot of you guys are the same, like, I don't know what any of these things do. The reaction chamber here will increase the dynamo's RF rate and reduce its efficiency. But since lava is free, this is probably going to be worth doing, to be honest. We'll need a bit more signalum and hardened glass. Yeah, this looks doable, I think. And then as for this ender dust on the top here, the other input for the induction smelter, I'm really not too worried about our stock of this stuff. We have 65,000, so this is a completely free and passive process we've got set up over here. We almost have enough for our last machine casing, although in the meantime though, there is one of the quests that's locked. So for some reason it wants us to make a copper can of molten silver to unlock the quest. Oh no guys, can we afford this? 3 pieces of copper? I don't know about that. Anyway, I think we can actually just... Well, let's turn these other ones off. I think we can just pour these straight on the can. Yeah, I think we can. Pardon the pun. I didn't mean that at all. Alright, submit this for the quest. We need to pick up our silver as well. And then pick up Enderium. Oh, that's right, we need the final induction smelter step as well. Let's make up another couple of induction smelters. I'm sure we'll use more than one in the future. Oh, we're out of materials. We really do need a better storage system than this. Okay, well there's 2 for now. So you know what, I think for this setup we will use some brass pipes. Make sure we disconnect from this funnel right here. We can place the induction smelter in the middle, and then brass pipe on either side. Actually, this will need to be one higher. I think there has to be at least another block space before we can put the retrieval module inside. I could be wrong about that though. Or actually, how about we do it like this instead, and that way we can put another dynamo here to power the induction smelter. And then we just need 2 modules on these pipes. Although we are out of mechanisms here, it's just because we don't have enough precision mechanisms. Get this sequenced assembly going again. Awesome, so that puts the 2 materials inside the induction smelter. I hope it doesn't oversend, to be honest. And the final steps for this induction smelter can be automatically output to this drawer. So with enough power built up, we now have our Abstruce Mechanisms, allowing us to craft our ender casings, and then combining this into our Enderium machines. Awesome, so that's chapter 3 completed. We get some nice goodies for this as well, actually. We get 16 free mechanisms. Well, now that we've unlocked our Enderium machines, we can get our ender tanks. We'll need at least 2 of these things. And the last one we'll use for the ender chest right now. Alright, so I took some time and built up enough materials to get a couple of ender chests and tanks. We have 1 ender chest here for the silver coins, which is automatically input to the smeltery. 1 ender tank here for lava, and the second ender tank is just placed next to the water one, just so that we can grab power for the pump. And that is fed into the 3 magmatic dynamos here. And then also continues along and underneath to power these 2 dynamos here as well. I realised maybe that, I don't know if it's more efficient to actually use flux ducts and centralise the magmatic dynamos, right? Like we could have had, I don't know, 6 or 7 magmatic dynamos set up here and then run flux ducts to all the machines instead. I mean, not that it really matters, our lava is free anyway. Oh, and it looks like this Enderman didn't survive. He's gone. I don't know where he went, but he's gone. But yeah, as for the other end of the ender tank, we have this placed directly after our pump here, or the hose pulley. I thought it would make more sense to do it after this step rather than doing it in the overworld where we have to empty buckets for it. Here is connected directly into our lava supply. And then the ender chest we just have right above our silver coin drawer. And we have just some brass pipes to supply the silver coins to this thing. So yeah, all in all, this system is pretty much fully automatic now. We don't have to do any other input for this. We should turn on our singularities again though. I've had this off for quite a while. I keep forgetting about these, but this should get all the paintballs going and we're going to see the whole production line here. So from the beginning we get crushed into paintballs. Oh, this is so cool. The magenta gets crafted. I noticed that actually one of our bottlenecks is these crafters. We may have to add a couple more of these things. But yeah, they're transformed by the beacon, stamped into plates. Run through the sequenced assembly into the mechanisms, and then that is combined with our new system we built today to give us the Abstruce Mechanisms. As promised, let's also add another ender tank for this line here. We no longer need this lava line. And in fact, we can simply hook this straight up to these magmatic dynamos for power. Actually, I guess we'll need 2 of these things, won't we? Yeah, and we'll have to have a pump here as well. Well, I hope this lava doesn't spill everywhere. Because if you break these pipes with the water in, it does actually spill out into the world. Hopefully we don't have a mess here. I guess there's only one way to find out. But we're going to remove all of these. And right now we have this on white, black, white. Automatically output to this dynamo, and that is that line taken care of. We just need to figure out this melter here. So it looks like if we remove this shaft, replace this with a cog, and connect it to another cog, that allows us to put a pump directly on the fuel tank. And then our ender tank on the other side. And I believe that should keep it fueled. Please no spillages. I think if we're fast enough we should be okay. Yeah, and we can also get rid of this extra cog. And also these extra ones on top here. Yeah, nice. I kind of missed that pipe though. I don't know, I'm not going to add it back in now. I think to finish off this episode though, I'm going to upgrade all of these machines with the extra efficiency and speed. As these insulators are painfully slow. So I'm not sure how many of you guys are familiar with chapter 4 of this pack, but there's basically 2 options we can do here. And I'm curious to know what you guys think we should go for. There is the alchemy option, which is the alternate path through chapter 4, or we can go the traditional create option here. I think this should open up the quest book for us. Yeah. So ultimately at the end of this alchemy quest line, we have to make silicon. I think the 82 silicon. There is one caveat to doing this alchemy though, and that is that the recipes will actually change based on your seed. So if we have an unlucky seed tier, it may be that it costs us, for example, emeralds to make silicon. Or if we get really lucky, we could get something like, I don't know, andesite, which can turn it into silicon. And you can transmute other things from what I understand as well. But it may be that we waste a full episode and not be able to get our silicon without some serious other investment into some farms or something. Well, in any case, I think this is a good point to wrap up the episode. We got all of chapter 3 completed now. And there is potentially only 2 chapters to go. This is going to be a lot shorter of a pack than I initially thought, actually. we may potentially be finished in a few episodes, but I mean, there is still a lot of building to do. I don't really want to leave this half finished. But anyways, let me know what you think about the alchemy step. And that is going to do us for today. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for some more Create Above and Beyond.